Ever played a game and was suddenly freaked out when something unexpected happened? These moments tend to stick with us for longer due to the fact that we weren't expecting them from this type of game. So with that in mind, here is my dedication to the top 10 most disturbing moments in non-horror games. Which means that all horror games don't count on this list. MTC! So bear with me on this one, as I know a lot of you are wondering why Echo the Dolphin is on a disturbing moments list. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that this can be done in any area, providing of course that there is an open sky above you. Jumping in and out of the water wouldn't come across as a dangerous thing to do, but if you can jump high enough into the air in this game, then what follows is something quite unexpected and quite disturbing. The screen will suddenly flash, freezing Echo in the air. But whilst this is happening, all of the sea life that you were swimming amongst earlier will inexplicably be sucked up into the air and disappear. When you regain control of Echo, you'll find that you're now swimming in an empty sea. Truly bizarre and quite disturbing as well. Lavender Town! This gaming series is well known for being child-friendly, colourful, happy and fun. So it was quite the surprise for us all when we first reached Lavender Town. This town is notable for its creepy atmosphere, eerie soundtrack, but also for the fact that the issue of death is brought up here as well. When Pokemon are defeated in battle, they simply pass out and can be revived later, but none of them actually die. So it left an impression on us when it became apparent that one of the spirits you meet whilst in Lavender Town was actually a deceased Pokemon. And I'm sure we all know the story of the Lavender Town Syndrome as well. Not the worst thing to come across in a non-horror game, but still noteworthy. Cutting off your finger. This entry is disturbing, but only because it's painful to watch. Ethan Mars has had his child abducted, and now to get him back, he must go through a series of horrifying tasks. But the most horrible one of them all is to hack off one of his fingers on a livestream video. Though the act of sawing off one of your fingers is bad enough, I wouldn't know by the way, I've never done it, the game builds up a lot of suspense before we get to the cutting, giving the player a lot of time to really think about what they're about to do. And even though the game doesn't show you too much, our imaginations can do the rest, and it's not a pleasant experience.
Lane Goodman.
Hotel murder. This is one of those moments where you need to go out of your way to find it, but it's worth checking out all the same. During the mission Traditions of the Trade, you can find an area that's closed off for unknown reasons. If you go past this area and explore some more, you'll realise that a murder has taken place, which seems to have nothing to do with the story. But things get even stranger if you enter the bathroom. At a first glance there's nothing there, but it's only when you look in the mirror that you'll see the ghost of the victim standing behind you. The fact that all of this is never explained in the game, nor is any of it relevant to what's happening, makes this entry truly disturbing. The Nightmare Sequence. Though being quite the dark game anyway, Max Payne is primarily focused on delivering a gritty detective story, along with loads of shooting and bullet time moments. That is until we get to the Nightmare Sequence. With blood pouring down the walls, empty voids you can easily trip and fall into, the sound of your wife crying in the background, and a vast and hard to navigate labyrinth is why the Nightmare Sequence is in at number 6. Snake's Nightmare. This is more of an Easter egg and only works on the original PlayStation 2 version, but it's still quite disturbing. In Snake Eater, Naked Snake is eventually captured and thrown in jail. Now at this point you're supposed to try and break out. However, if you immediately save the game and then restart the system, when you load up that saved game, Snake will enter a dreamlike state. During this time, the screen will have a sort of black and white effect going on, and you'll have to fight in a hack and slash game. It's not difficult to do, however it is quite disturbing. Even when putting what you're seeing aside, players felt put off by the whole ordeal, mainly because it was so surreal and out of place that we didn't know how to take it. Shalebridge Cradle. The Thief series isn't one to shy away from the weird and wonderful, and messed up scenes and settings are fair game too. having your eye ripped out comes to mind, but I felt that the setting of Shalebridge Cradle should take this entry. The former mental asylum Shalebridge Cradle has transformed into a box dimension, trapping all those who would go wandering in. Unfortunately, that also includes Garrett, who must now somehow escape this reality. The setting itself is just so damn freaky, with objects moving about on their own accord, the feeling that some ominous presence is right behind you, and something actually being right behind you, as the former patients of this place are up and about, roaming the corridors and are out for blood. To go from sneaking down dark alleyways and stealing everything valuable from passers-by's pockets, to then end up in a nightmarish box dimension was something that we weren't expecting, and it made it that much more difficult to handle. Boys of Silence. The BioShock series isn't necessarily known for its horror elements, though the first game does have some good frights. However, we weren't expecting anything scary to be in the brightly coloured BioShock Infinite. So when we're required to sneak through an area filled with Boys of Silence without alerting them, to pull a lever, only to then turn around and find one standing right behind you, sends a chill down everyone's spine. The Boys of Silence are quite the disturbing concept anyway, but this scare was one that we didn't see coming. Strogg surgery. Holy hell! Okay, I was not expecting this scene to happen when I first played Quake 4. I had always been curious as to what was involved in the Stroggification process, but this was one of those times where you need to be careful what you wish for. Having been captured by the enemy, you will now have to witness, whilst conscious I might add, your own body being hacked to bits and mutilated in a process to turn you into a half-man, half-machine man. The whole scene is really quite graphic and can turn a few stomachs as well.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your hand to the side and said I'm angry.
Ravenholm! There's a reason why we don't go to Ravenholm. Though Half-Life 2 is most definitely a serious game, with an alien race now ruling Earth with an iron fist, we weren't expecting to find Gordon Freeman standing in a supposedly deserted Eastern European village. And then we found out that it wasn't deserted. Ravenholm has been turned into a living nightmare, filled with zombie-like creatures hiding at every corner, waiting for any unsuspecting victims to happen by and eat the living shit out of them. Though not necessarily being the most scariest of settings, it did leave a huge impression on us for being something so disturbing in an otherwise undisturbing game. And we're done once again, but if you're quite disturbing yourself, then like and subscribe. There's also True Review News on Twitter and my Patreon page if you want to support me. And now that that's out of the way, I'm a goner. See ya!
Sometimes I think this life is killing me.